Welcome to The Long List, a podcast where we celebrate movies and other pop culture through the storied art of rankings. There are no wrong answers, no bad opinions, and hot takes are always encouraged. I'm Josh Muller. With me, as always, is my brother Jack Muller, and our good friend Thomas Churchill is back with us this week. This episode is all about biopics.
Ooh.
Biopics, gentlemen, you know, pretty fun. If you would like to reach out to us, the Long List Podcast at gmail.com is a place to do it. Jack, I have a sense you want to say something.
Yeah, biopics?
Yeah, that's how I say it.
Why?
That's how I say it.
Where did you hear that one?
In the recesses of my mind, and that's just always how I say it. Said it.
Okay.
You say biopics.
I say, yeah, biopics.
And when you put it like that, it does make it feel more sci-fi, like it's a biopic versus like a biopic versus like a biographic.
Thank you.
Thing.
Oh,
Thank you.
my God.
You sound stupid, Jack.
What would you say, T?
Well, like I was going to say later in the intro, like I have a mixtape coming out, and it's called Biopic, and so that's and when I say it, that's how I say it. So when I think of
You say biopic.
I say biopic. So yeah.
God damn it.
Biography. Biopic.
Or a biographical.
Biographical. Good point.
Yeah,
that's an adjective,
autobiographical.
though.
Nobody says biopic.
Well, Claire Nocon agrees with you. This came up in like our episode 3 or something. We just haphazardly mentioned biopics for no reason. And she was like, does she say, does he say biopic instead of biopic?
Yes.
And then they had a big discussion. I didn't find that out until like 2 months later.
I'm pretty sure in that episode.
Film.
No, don't give in. I'm pretty sure in that episode, it was the first time I've ever heard anybody say biopic, and I was like,
sounds better that way.
Go along with it? No, it doesn't. It's a biopic.
That's how I say it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what you guys say. Thank you for supporting me, Tommy.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Wait, what were you talking about? Go back to the mixtape. What were you saying about that? Let's do that.
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I sort of reached out in the first place. You know, I was like, I've been watching and thinking about biopics for quite some time now. I had this idea for this mixtape, or having it be the subtitle of a series to kind of end the series out in my Thug Apatow series. So it's Thug Apatow 6 biopic, and they've always been abstract, and my rhymes have always been abstract. And so for this project, I was like, no, I want to get back to more like hip hop roots and just like storytelling rhymes, and rhymes about like things that are real and more true to my life and more like kind of close to my actual experiences, as opposed to just like rapping craziness and going, you know, all over the world with like, you know, odd metaphors and stuff like that. So, you know, I've always been kind of, over the last 2 years, I've been really thinking about and over, you know, watching them and, you know, just kind of going back and studying them. And it's been an odd journey because, yeah, there's been some big ones and some small ones. And yeah, so, and especially this list that we have here, I feel like it's such a, like we have 15 movies, which I feel like is such a scatter shot, but also it's like a good, like, chronology of, like, what these movies can be and, like, why I like them so much and why I like music biopics. And, you know, this year Michael came out, so that's kind of like been a big conversation. So it's been just
definitely
a year for it.
Yeah, very cool.
At the same time, your music has always been very personal. So, like, it's always felt very biopic, or like, you know, a glimpse inside Tommy's mind.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But that's cool to hear about your research on this one, is that you're actively thinking about this. At least that's what it seemed like you said, watching a lot of different biopics and to like kind of like get in the mood and kind of it seemed like you were saying drive some inspiration for what you're trying to do. Am I reading that correctly?
A little bit. It's also more of just like I just like them. There's been more frequent ones coming out, and I it's more of just coming from like I'm all about like kind of defending the underdog a little bit. And I feel like they're kind of this underdog of a subgenre that everyone just hates. and people are just like really they see it as like a collection of tropes and a collection of like, you know, really cheesy moments. And
Guilty.
I'm kind of a sucker for it when it's done well and when the songs are really good or the artist is awesome.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so yeah, like over the last few years, I'm kind of jumping back a little bit, but yeah, like A Complete Unknown came out, and just the conversations around that movie are just really entertaining to me and really interesting, because as someone who's performed on stage, not a lot, even just a little bit, I just like have just an immense respect for anyone who does it regularly, and you know, and so just, you know, that Timothy Chalamet like learned the guitar and was like up there performing and like, you know, just seeing this stuff.
Yeah, you're talking about like the promotion around the movie.
No, well, that and within the movie itself too, and so that's where, you know, you get into this weird, it kind of bleeds sometimes, and so like specifically we're going to talk about Ray later, but that happens with Ray, and I just think it's really fascinating when these movies can kind of transcend just like being a movie and just kind of be a part of the culture at large, and so it's weird that people kind of, when you ask an average movie fan, like a movie head cinephile or whatever, they'd be like, oh, they scoff at it. They're like, oh, like biopics it's like people think they're really dumb and really like cheesy or whatever. But I just have a soft spot for them.
I can absolutely be guilty of that.
Well, it's also a completely different genre. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many movies that do the biopic thing. There are biopics that are completely different. Yes. Are experimental maybe, or, you know, don't do the same biopic thing, but the ones that do is like a category unto itself.
Yeah, the ones that play it straight down the middle, you mean?
Straight down the middle, cover the entire life, hit some, you know, cliche sort of things, not cliche, but like...
No, yeah, the tropes that...
the tropes.
That Tommy was talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're going to do that, in my opinion, you got to execute.
Yes.
You know, it has to be, and it helps if I'm interested in the subject, but that doesn't have to.
No, yeah.
It doesn't have. No, I'm saying if I'm going to get excited about a movie, you know, it has to be someone I'm interested in. That doesn't mean that it has to be someone I'm interested in order for me to like the movie. But if I'm watching a trailer and I don't know who they're talking about and they're playing a straight down the middle biopic, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to get excited about it.
Yeah, but that could make or break it for you, because like A Complete Unknown, which I loved, and I love Bob Dylan, but I would say the one mark against that for me was that it was a pretty basic,
straight down the middle.
Down the middle.
But it was well executed, so I enjoyed it. Tommy, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, at least for Complete Unknown, I like that most of that movie is just straight up performances of songs in front of people, whether it be like one-on-one with him and Woody Guthrie, or like him going full electric at the end of it. Sorry to spoil that movie. But and so also
he exists though.
It's gonna be Al Patron is on the podcast. No movie is safe. Sorry.
Go for it. Yeah.
I was gonna bring up another movie that came out a few years ago that really first of all, the movie is not Ordinary Man. What is this fucking movie? It's the biopic with Robbie Williams, where he's portrayed by a monkey.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I don't remember
what man. It's called A Better Man.
A Better Man. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I watched this like a month ago, and I gave it like 4.5 on Letterboxd. I was surprised with like how much emotional depth there is to it, and how like good the performances are, and how weird and psychedelic it kind of got, and how just like straight up and that's the whole joke about that movie when it came out. They're like, first of all, who is Robbie Williams? This movie completely bombed in America. No one saw it.
Right. He's very famous in England. Not so much in the States.
Yeah. No, he's no Michael Jackson by any means in terms of like just complete name notoriety, where you can say it, or like you can hear a song and be like, oh, I know who that is. Like you have to like sort of dig a little bit deeper to at least get to that. At least for me, from someone from my background as like a black person, like I have no idea who Robbie Williams is.
No, never heard of him before. I was shocked by this movie being made.
He had like one semi-hit when I was in like high school. That I was
I recognized him as a human.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is
but
funny.
as like a CGI monkey is even stranger, and so like just it just makes this weird anomaly of a movie. But like when I sat down and watched it, by the end of it, I was like, "Fuck, his voice is amazing. He went through some shit, and he's a good guy. He's a better man now. Like it's in it. So it won me over. Not by I guess by the form of it, because of how crazy it was and just how ridiculous it was and how it works. It was hard, and so I don't know. I think that's why I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna release this mixtape. I'm gonna put it out because I was kind of teetering. I almost was not gonna do it. I've had several songs that have kind of come and gone, but I was like, you know what? I'm done. It's like I'm gonna put it out. It's gonna come out this summer. I don't know if you guys, not to put you on the spot. I don't know if you guys listened to the 2 tracks I sent to you. I sent them like earlier today.
Oh, yeah, I listened to them.
Not yet, but I've listened to some of your other stuff that you've done throughout the years. I can't say I'm an expert on it, but I've definitely listened to most of the albums.
I very much like the 2 tracks that you sent us. Do you
feel like such a dick?
I mean, they came in like a couple hours ago.
It was the last minute move, you know.
Is it like every song on the album you feel this way? And B, are any of them old songs that you wrote like in the past that you are bringing back?
No, this is all strictly like I am gonna like. For a while I was just kind of doing the typical verse thing that I do, and like kind of going back and like, oh, here's like a bar or two about something I went through. But then I did like a full kind of rewrite where I was like, no, like this, like there are songs in there like, no, this is about a specific night that I went through, and this is a song about like a relationship or whatever. So like there's just more direct kind of confrontations with things. And so I think with this, it's just like, it feels more honest, and it feels fun. And I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you appreciate it because I've been watching so many of these movies. And it's been a really interesting exercise because
it take you through piece by piece.
Yeah. And I loved that movie, and I loved it even more upon rewatch.
Yeah. I was like, this is Thomas coded right now.
Yeah,
when I watch piece by piece.
Yeah. But I don't want to get ahead of myself though.
No.
We got it coming up.
We'll get there. We got to. We'll cover it.
For sure.
All right, let's get back to
it. For sure.
Jack,
when does it come out?
There is no release date as of yet, but it's definitely coming out. I want to say like September-ish.
All right, we'll keep you all posted.
That's
before the vacation.
Yeah, definitely before the vacation for sure.
Jack, what are you looking for in a good biopic?
Well,
Did we cover all of it just now? You want to learn something?
I want to learn something, even if I feel like I know the majority of these things, but I never normally do. So I like being pleasantly surprised with information that I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Are you frozen?
No, I was just reading something.
Just convinced. Yep.
I love the idea of certain historical events and people being portrayed in a beautiful cinematic style.
Right. Yeah.
The acting has to be on point.
Yes.
And I will say this about honestly almost all of the movies that we've picked. I guess all of the movies that we've picked today is that
strong performances.
Not only do you need the lead actor who is performing the main biographical person, but every biopic has a strong ensemble of people that represent the rest of their life and all of it. Like, of course you need the main acting performance, but you usually have like a good 6 to 10 people who are extremely important in the story. And you need them all to be firing all cylinders or it won't work, or it's just going to be kind of goofy. Um, I like some abstractness in things. I like some like going out there a little bit. I don't necessarily need it. But if you aren't going to be abstract and you are going to do it straightforward, you need it to be tight.
Yeah, I agree.
You need to be really good on all fronts, or else it's going to seem cheesy in some aspects. It's going to seem forced. It's going to seem fake.
Of course, there are some that they do make choices, which I appreciate, like creative choices, and it doesn't work, and then those just become forgettable, and like, what were they doing there? I don't know if I can think of any off the top of my head because I've been thinking so much about the movies we're talking about today, but it does happen. But when you do make a creative choice, something is a little bit surreal or abstract, like Jack says, and it works, it's very cool because these are artist interpretations of someone's life or achievements. So essentially, we're still making a piece of art. This doesn't have to be straightforward, and to your guys' point, when you do play it straightforward, it has to be well executed, or else it'll feel like a little cut and paste sort of a thing. You know, that we've seen this before, and we know the beats.
If it's straightforward and doesn't take any liberties, or if it doesn't want to take any liberties and wants to do it straightforward, it's got to be super, super, super on point.
Yeah, and I was also going to mention it kind of like really sips it into two big categories of like, is it like a person in history that's just doing like political things or historical things versus like this is a musician, and that's kind of what the big kind of categories tend to have fallen into.
I agree. A lot of musicians, a lot of some sort of political figure. Every once in a while there'll be like a sports movie or something, but those aren't the only two, but those do seem to make out the biggest slice of the total pie.
No sports movies represented.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
I thought of a couple that I would really like to do, but I don't know if they focus as much. None of the ones that focus as much on one person are the ones like Miracle is a movie I love, and that's not that's kind of
it's not a biography.
That's a solid one.
Yeah, I don't know if that counts for what I want to do in my personal list.
I would put Moneyball probably before that, as far as
I thought about that.
That's a good choice too. Yeah, that neither of those choices. I was thinking, what was it? And I just lost it. It was another baseball movie. No, not bad. It was a basketball. It was Coach Carter. I was thinking about a coach.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
we better coach, but
that'd have been a good one. You could argue Remember the Titans fits in that, but again, it's more of an ensemble. I don't know if that's really. That's like, here's the event of this team rather
Rudy.
than Rudy would have been a good one. Yeah.
A little bit complicated.
Yeah, we not totally accurate apparently. But
he's kind of
that too. Yeah, that too.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is like, how do you guys feel about accuracy in these movies?
Oh, accuracy.
I feel
Well, I don't like liberties taken. I don't like when something is inaccurate.
Yeah.
But I don't mind liberties being taken to garner
emotion.
Emotion.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
One of mine is not very accurate, and I'll get to it when I get to it. But I don't care because the movie's awesome, and nobody knows anyway.
Yeah. Accuracy is a little bit of a tricky one because like I think it like also in the most recent thing is like I had mixed feelings about Michael because it was basically hamstrung because of several legal reasons, and because of that, like we can't talk about several portions of this man's life and make it a more accurate depiction of his life, and therefore we get a lesser movie, in my opinion. And so for these movies that we're talking about here, I think the scale is sliding in an interesting kind of way. Where I think for most of all, we have like accurate kind of movies or they focus on a small period of time, which I also think is like another way to kind of dance around that too. It's like, well, this is about
that's a good point.
This specific moment or this specific thing, and so it's not really about like what happens later or too much of what came before. And so, I think it really comes down to the subject, and so that's like the big thing. But for the most part, it's like I just like when it kind of going back what Jack says. Like I like when there's broad kind of strokes in good ways. One movie I watched recently that kind of like left me feeling not great about it, because like once I started reading about how inaccurate it was, I was unhappy. It was The Doors with the Val Kilmer movie.
Early 90s.
And apparently one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when they're in the desert and they're like tripping and stuff. Is like it never happened at all, or like, and I was just like, damn, like that's kind of a bummer that my favorite scene in the movie just like it's a complete fabrication, and so that kind of really let me down. And so
shout out Wayne's World 2, by the way.
I haven't seen Wayne's World 2.
Well, you've basically seen it if you've watched The Doors.
Right on.
There's a whole thing about that movie.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and The Doors is pretty good. I mean,
I haven't seen it in a while.
That's one where it's like everybody's tripping and just like, it goes all these different places and
kind of like the members of The Doors.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
All right, I'm going to jump here. We got to keep this thing moving.
Yeah, that's what's like.
Some stats for you.
Yes.
Highest grossing biopics ever. You ready?
Oh, yes.
The 800, a Chinese film, 461 million. The Greatest Showman, 471 million. Yeah.
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah. I have it on my wall over here.
461 million?
71 million.
Damn.
The Conjuring, Last Rites. Shout out Tommy on that one.
Tommy's first
run through
was the first one, yeah.
That made 500 million.
Yeah. Okay.
The Revenant. Wait, hold on. How is it a biopic?
I'm just telling you what the internet told me.
It's about real people.
I'm asking
the people at the center is Lorraine and something Newman. They were a horror. They're paranormal investigators in real life, and so that's where the accuracy gets really weird, because like a lot of their shit was just like, they were fudging the numbers. They were goosing the numbers for sure, and so
maybe.
Yeah. So just the nature of all of that paranormal stuff is just is up to
Got it.
But The Conjuring is such a sick movie. I was like, this is a fun movie.
We would have allowed it for the record. The Revenant, 532 million. American Sniper, 547 million. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if this one counts. Passion of the Christ, 612 million.
Yeah. Hey.
It's on here?
Yeah. I watched it.
It's a biopic, for sure.
Yeah. That's number 5, so we're in the top 5 now. Number 4, really Hi Mom, 821 million. That's another Chinese film. Bohemian Rhapsody, 911 million.
Well, how do we all feel about Bohemian Rhapsody?
I like Queen. I really appreciate movies that have like, this is exactly how the song was made. I'm a sucker for that one.
Yes.
So
Me too. This is going to come up again.
I think the Queen movie is one that does it really well.
It does. It does.
And it's also, we talk about like performances that anchor it. Like Rami Malek is like an alien from whatever planet he's from, and he's perfect to play fucking Freddie Mercury, another alien from another planet. And so it's a good amalgamy, but it's a crazy. I don't know. It's kind of a mess of a movie. I haven't seen it since
the recording scene in a recording studio needs a whole list of its own. I mean, that's like an elite thing that some people don't do right and some people do. It's going to come up a lot again.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to talk about it. Continue, Josh.
Yes.
I did not like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, number 2. But that scene was good. That scene was good. That scene was the part that I liked the most. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 3.5 upon rewatch. I don't know.
Yeah. Oppenheimer made a bill.
A Billy.
How about that? Unbelievable. And Michael, over a bill. So that's your number 1, which I mean makes sense. But it's just so recent, being pretty cool. All right, continue. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's just wild that it happened this year, and that the other one right behind it happened a few years ago, and it was Oppenheimer, and it's just and those movies are very much kind of like the selection we have here. You have one that's just like, this is very much a hard historical drama about something really heavy in one particular moment in history, and this is like a man's life, and here he's like learning dance moves, and but it's uncanny because like Jafar is insane, like he's just so good. So I don't know, it's just, you have both of these movies and the cast of Oppenheimer is like 80 deep. I don't know, like just.
Well, it's kind of like Oppenheimer has Chris Nolan behind it, and all these different actors, and has a different sort of script, and telling the story in a little bit, of course, non-linear way.
Yes, yeah.
And Michael has a great performance, and the rest of it is
about someone that people care about.
Oh, yeah, but is also leaves out, as Tommy was saying, all of the controversial things. Doesn't necessarily get into it, but it's still one actor being the person and doing it well. Yeah,
but I also sort of agree with Josh a little bit, where there's like I work at a grocery store, and I work with a lot of younger people, and so sometimes I get like a more of a feel of how the actual public is feeling. So they were like, we're stoked for Michael. We like Billie Jean, so we're gonna go see it. And so I'm like, okay, like, sometimes it's just as easy as that for them. And
clearly,
and Nolan is still a harder sell. My parents saw Michael twice. So
there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Biopics that won Best Picture. There's 22 of these that I could find. I'm going to fly right through these. Yeah. So I'm going to fly right through these. Some of these are like, I don't know whether to include this or not, because it's kind of about a group, like I was talking about earlier. But I included them. The Great Ziegfeld. Don't know what that is. 1936. Green Book. Shakespeare in Love. I don't know if that counts, but
are you going
maybe.
by year? How is this
I'm not
organized?
I found a list.
Jesus.
Just
you
fine,
went
whatever.
from the Great Ziegfeld to Green Book. It was shocking.
That's fine. I didn't want to reorganize it.
All right.
The King's Speech.
Okay.
Life of Emile Zola. Excuse me. Don't know that one. 1937. Chariots of Fire. 1981.
Okay.
Mutiny on the Bounty. 1935. Didn't know that was a real story. Gotta be honest. A Beautiful Mind. 2001.
Okay.
Spotlight. 2015.
No.
Ooh, still haven't seen it.
It is not a biopic. Thomas!
This should be required viewing for everybody on the podcast. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Sound of Music. 1965.
Is Spotlight about an office?
Yeah, it's not a biopic at all.
I didn't make this list for the record. I found this list.
Okay.
And it was on
here. That you should tell people that.
If you think that I'm going to take Spotlight off a list for this episode, for this podcast, you're wrong. It was crazy. On there. I didn't put it on there. I lost my list. Here we go. Sound of Music, we got that. Out of Africa, 1985. Jack, your favorite, Argo, 2012.
Fuck that movie. It's not a biopic either. It's about a historical moment.
Saying it was on the list.
You also
The Last Emperor, 1987.
For sure. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one counts. Gandhi, another one that counts.
Yeah, okay.
1982. A Man for All Seasons, 1966. Don't know much about that one. I think it's about
that title.
King Henry VIII, I think.
Okay.
Braveheart, 1995. Not accurate, but it counts. Patton, 1970. Haven't seen it, but I gotta figure that counts. 12 Years a Slave, definitely counts. Amadeus, definitely counts. Schindler's List, I think I would allow.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Lawrence of Arabia, yes. And Oppenheimer, yes.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah.
Wow. And many, many, many Best Actor and Actress nominations and wins. I'm not going to go through those because there are too many to.
But those were all Best Picture winners.
Those were Best Picture winners. Yeah. I didn't feel like we had time to go over the Best Actor winners. That's just too many.
Yeah, that's fine. About 4 of those I would say weren't biopics, but fine.
That's right. But I prefaced.
And to the point of one of your questions that you have posed here.
Which one? We got off the rails, so I don't even know what question.
Our stance on biopics that choose a period of someone's life as opposed to the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, we kind of touched on that earlier. Tommy was talking about it. For me, I would rather see a better movie about the thing that's important to talk about rather than we have to spend 20 minutes seeing how this person grew up, see the end of their life, which is not always as interesting. Like if it really is like this one or, significant situation, let's just see that. Let's just cut out the other stuff. That's how I feel.
For sure, for sure.
I agree. And one of my movies definitely falls into place with that. I think it just needs to be more about the person than the event.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like Argo. Argo is about the event.
Argo's not a biopic.
The whole thing.
I agree. Totally.
That's another one I haven't seen. I
Good.
feel like
Don't see it. You know look up the log line and then you're good. It's fine.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a
pretty
try.
solid.
Yeah, put it on the list.
I'm sure you're gonna like it.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Well,
I was just pissed off about it at the time that it came out.
For sure.
Best picture?
Yeah, sometimes the best picture is always like it's a tough conversation because it's always like there's so many good things that can come out in the year and
like Django Unchained. They could have just given it to Django Unchained.
Could have given it to that. Could have given it to a lot of things probably.
All right, that movie sucks.
Ooh, yeah, that would have been one for the books if they gave it to Django Unchained. Holy shit.
Yeah. Before we take our first break, we're just gonna, since we've been talking for half an hour and not explain the episode, this is a pick 5 episode structure where all three of us pick our 5 movies that we want to talk about. We know ahead of time. Oops, no surprises in this episode for our fellow podcasters. We'll talk about each movie a little bit more in depth, and we won't be doing a bunch of different lists throughout the episode. So we'll go through, each talk about our number 5 movie, each talk about our number 4 movie, and so on and so forth. And that's how this episode's going to go. We're going to take a quick break before we get into it, and we'll come back and we'll talk about some movies.
Sounds good.
All right, we're back. We should probably clarify, these aren't necessarily our 5 favorites of the biopics, but we these are the ones that we felt like we wanted to talk about. So,
right,
for various reasons.
Yeah.
Tommy, you're our guest. What's your number 5 biopic we're talking about today?
My number 5 is a kung fu biopic that I've spoken about before back on my podcast, Vague Zone. This is Ip Man with Donnie Yen. With Donnie Yen, and it's by Wilson Yip. And yeah, if you're unfamiliar, it's Ip Man is the grand master of Bruce Lee. He is the person that invented the Wing Chun, and so this movie is sort of like it's a biopic about this man, but it's also like a specific period of his life in like this Chinese sort of Japanese conflict. And so that's like kind of like the backdrop of this just insane kung fu movie, and the Wing Chun is just beautifully displayed. It's just awesome to kind of like have like a movie about like this guy, this real man, and so it's kind of like an excuse to be like, oh yeah, like it's a biopic about like a kung fu master, so it's just like I have to watch a kung fu movie, and so it's a nice little excuse to kind of to do a little bit of both, and I just love it, and I think it's also really fun because it starts off a franchise of another 3 movies. And
I was going to say there's a bunch of these.
Yeah, it's like if
4,
you
I
like
think, at this point.
Yeah, it's like if you like even just like a little bit of it, they just get more ridiculous and more fun as they go on. But this one is a little bit more restrained, a little more muted, and much more like traditional in terms of like it takes itself really seriously when it gets to the serious parts of the story, which I really love. And then you just get like just some ripping fucking fights that are just super dope.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to say that when I watched this, 10 years ago or whatever it was back in college, did not know that it was a, true story or that it was based off a real person. I just kind of like went with it and thought of it as a kung fu movie.
Yeah.
Or
but like
Wang Chun.
Awesome, even if that was what it was,
Oh, 100%. I thought it was
But the
amazing.
fact that it's like a real dude
you put
is
it on
cool.
You said it as this list, and I was just like, oh. I was a little embarrassed, I'm going to be honest.
Nice. No, it's all good. No, because I think it's also one of those things that kind of it's in terms of like kung fu movies. I think it was something I hadn't seen when it was released. It was something that had completely evaded me. And so even now I have to find myself a little bit more proactive with looking out kung fu movies. Even my homie hit me up to see The Furious in theaters like a month ago, and that's like
Fucking
one of
dope.
one of my top 5 movies of the year, just because it's just insanely well executed, and I think that's what's so good about kung fu cinema specifically. Is like it takes things back to the basics, where it's just like it's really simple conflicts in ways that I think benefit movies really well when things aren't like incredibly convoluted, where it's like, okay, yeah, it's like these invaders show up and they sort of challenge everybody, and this guy's they keep pushing this guy to kind of show what he can do, and it isn't until he's put under like military presence he has to like really fight to defend him, like fight for his life, and then he's like a tiger getting let out of a cage, and it's just insane.
The scene where he fights he chooses to fight those 10 dudes at once.
I mean, that's
unbelievable.
That's
just unbelievable. It's so good. Also, we have to
I'll
really...
take on 10 of them. All 10?
You mentioned it, but we have to shout out Donnie Yen, who's just like such an awesome kung fu movie star. And he's been doing it for years overseas. If you don't know who he is, he's been in Rogue One. He was the blind guy who was like almost a Jedi, and he was I think he was also blind in the John Wick movie he was in too. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Correct.
But,
he's also he plays a blind fighter in that movie as well.
Which I think is the fourth one.
Loves being blind.
That's
his thing.
Loves being blind. Anyway, that's him. If you haven't seen it, and go check out some of his movies, or at the very least,
absolutely
watch
steals
some
the
YouTube
show.
scenes.
Yeah. He steals the show in Rogue One for sure. It's just it's just so legendary.
I am one with the Force. The Force is one with me.
Yeah, and here it's really funny that like this movie kind of is almost structured as if definitely not. Sorry, almost is not the wrong word. It is structured as if there's like this is the only one we're gonna make, because it ends with this like kind of epilogue of like, and then like they escape this conflict, and then Ip Man goes on to be like this great grandmaster, and he was the person that trained Bruce Lee. But then we get another 3 movies that are like about like just different parts of his life, and so it's like because it was just so successful, and there's just like awesome, and him. Like Donnie Yen has like a really specific on-screen presence where he's just, like very reserved, very quiet, and like in like a lot of the fights in this movie, some of my favorite moments come where people aren't being hit; they're almost hitting you, and then they're like tapping you, like doing like the fake tap of like I could have got you, like in like this like sportsmanship of the kung fu amongst like the people that are friends with each other, and then it sort of escalates when the Japanese soldier comes in and starts really challenging them. He's like, okay, I want to see you like guys fight to the death. And they're like fighting over bags of rice, and it's super brutal. And like when he mentioned, he goes in, when he's finally looking for his friend disappeared, and he's like, I'm going to challenge 10 men. And just rips through it. It's just insane. So that's my number 5 is kind of a weird choice, but it's like I think it's a awesome movie. That's what I'm all about.
But I will say that I did not. I thought it was too. I just did not know that it was a true story.
Well, plus like we want to get different vibes for these different these types of movies to kind of represent the scope of what biopics can be.
Yeah, and I did it last minute, sort of rearranging. Yeah, they can say a biopic. I'll switch over to biopic.
Biopic.
I kind of switched this at the last minute because I think it ties in a little bit more with Cinderella Man and Lincoln in terms of being a little bit more.
Wait.
Sorry.
Hey, Jack, what's your number 5 movie?
Sorry.
Well, the last thing I wanted to say was there's a list to be made of legendary people who show up in later movies that not a lot of people are going to know, but also kill it. I'm just talking about Donnie Yen showing up in Rogue One. Like, Donnie Yen being in Rogue One, you already know, even if you've never seen any of his movies, you already know this guy's going to be a badass. And then he has
dope.
And then he has a badass
because of that
scene.
Presence he was talking about.
Exactly.
Tommy was talking about.
And then he has this badass scene. But I'm sure there's like a billion of those examples over the course of history that like people just like see this person, don't know their history, but can still appreciate them. And then the people who do know their history are like, this is the most satisfying thing in the world.
Sounds like a future episode.
I like it. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think specifically with Kung Fu cinema, because there's a lot of great like
True.
cameo play when you're doing some stuff with like countries like cross making movies together. Like, oh yeah, like you don't know who this guy is, and like we're gonna bring him over, and you're just gonna watch some magic happen. And I don't have him off the top of my head, but there's examples.
No, 100%. All right, my number 5.
I didn't want to spoil. Sorry. Now I know how the flow is. Now I know how the flow is. Now I know the flow.
My number 5 is Lincoln.
Hey.
Directed by Steven Spielberg. Written by Tony Kushner.
Yeah.
Starring Daniel Day-Lewis, Sally Fields, David Stratham, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, James Spader, Tommy Lee Jones, Hal Holbrook. It takes place during the final 4 months of Lincoln's life, primarily focusing on his efforts to abolish slavery and the passing of the 13th Amendment. This is a great example.
Yes, it's a good one. It's a good choice.
I'm very stoked on that he was able to pass the 13th Amendment.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Lincoln would have loved this podcast. He would have been so stoked.
Yeah,
I agree.
He'd be like, "That's delightful. You're telling stories. That's so delightful."
Okay, so that's great. That's no. But this is the type of biography that only focuses on a certain amount of time, and it helps that it's also the last 4 months of his life, and he's kind of doing the most crucial thing that he's ever done. But there's also an amazing example of like the mythos that already exists in his character by the way that all of the other people talk about him. And they're like, he's already Lincoln in the same way, in almost the same exact way that we think about Lincoln now is like the way that people already thought about him at that point. So and he also reflects on his life both him and Sally Fields like reflect on him being a younger person a lot in the movie. And that's what makes it an actual biography. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not one point in time. It is one point in time, but we understand who Lincoln is by everything that's going on around him.
I agree.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily giving you the whole story, but they're giving you so much characterization, and he's performing Daniel Day-Lewis is performing the character so well that you can see the toll the previous years of his life has taken on him. They constantly reference the Civil War. He's clearly graying. People throughout the movie are telling him how bad he looks over the course of the last couple years.
Yes.
I think there's a scene with Ulysses S. Grant at the end where he specifically says that in the last 5 years you've gained 20, or I don't exactly remember what the line is, but something like that. So you don't need the entire story of his life to be able to explain him as a character, and they spend so much time doing that, even though they're talking about passing the 13th Amendment. They're spending so much time revealing Lincoln's character that you get the scope of his life that way.
Yeah, and we get that as long as a process movie. You know what I mean? It's we get the whole passing of the bill, and it's an ensemble. It's like I was saying before, it always needs a good ensemble. All the supporting cast needs to be on point, firing. But you could just like literally like let Daniel Day-Lewis just be Lincoln forever. And the fact that everybody's like, stop telling stories, and we get the story. It's hilarious. It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
it's so good.
As I was watching, I was kind of like, one thing I've always kind of thought about would be really cool. Be like, like a really big budget, like Civil War movie, and this is honest, like the closest approximation we have had so far, and I fucking love that. It just starts off with like everyone like quoting the Gettysburg Address, and then it ends with the two black soldiers. He like like one guy's like, all right, I'm gonna finish it off, and he walks away, and it's just like most of that scene takes place with the camera behind Lincoln, and it's all about like his stature. And then another great scene later on, I forget exactly what the context is, but it's Adam Driver is like doing something with a letter, and this other character.
It's the best. It's the best scene of the movie. Euclid.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. He's explaining like the science of he's explaining the science about like all men being equal, and it's like a scientific fact. And
Euclid's first axiom is this: things that are equal to the same thing are equal to each other.
Yeah, just some.
I got the whole movie memorized.
Yeah, you already quoted that like 4 times on different episodes.
It's an amazing scene. But one of the best moments is like when he literally, I kind of laughed out loud because it was so on the nose, but it was just so fucking well executed. The camera's just slowly zooming back, and he just like puts on the hat and walks out the far corner, and it's like in his silhouette, and they're just like watching him walk out, and just like, yep, that's Lincoln right there, man. Like that's him. Like he's like there's no denying. He's just so big.
100%.
Yeah, it's just like. Yeah, just the walking away into the light was just like it just spoke so much into that moment where the music is swelling and we're just like walking. Yeah, we're just like we're like in these spaces with this person and it feels very real. And yeah, we see all of the spectrums, whether it be like the weird relationship with him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt and him like just begging to like wanting to be on the front lines and just like wanting to go to war and like no, like you're like I will. He's like there's been a lot of like one of my favorite lines in the movie is like there's been a lot of fathers who've denied their sons being able to go to war, but I'm actually the president, so I can literally say you cannot go to war. And so it's just well done. It's like
really good.
It's great. They do a great job of the mythos and the person, like the humble person, and like seeing him interact with his family in like personal ways. And the scenes with Sally Fields are she's great. So good.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes that every time she shows up on screen, that like the movie wisely recognizes that what they have going on is much more of a melodrama, and then it just like kind of shoots it that way, where she's just like on her knees, like and then he's just like it just feels just so I don't know, it like pulpy and I don't know, it feels very aware of like just the like. I don't know, the tension is being drawn from from these extremes of like how she's feeling, in which she literally you looked at me that night and you saw what real sadness looked like, and I was just like, yeah, like that's like some 70s afternoon drama like soap opera type shit. Where it's just like, yeah, like you have no idea what real sadness looks like because I lost both like my sons and you're handling all politics.
Mary Todd is like. Like frequently considered insane at certain points.
Yeah.
And this gives her light on being like emotionally traumatized and clearly, I don't know, mentally like unstable, but like she's going through a lot and it humanizes it a lot, but still gives reference of her being going through some shit.
They are playing with the notion that you might already have of Mary Todd Lincoln and doing it well and giving her a backstory and more characterization. And then she also has those moments where she talks down Tommy Lee Jones and his crew as they get to the party, and she just like totally rips into him, and it's just awesome. They give her moments too. So really good.
And again, a great ensemble. Yeah, every time Tommy Lee Jones is on screen is fantastic. And then just like the ultimate reveal at the end of it's just everything is just like just perfectly executed.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Cinderella Man, directed by Ron Howard. Stars Russell Crowe, Paul Giamatti, Renee Zellweger. Follows disgraced boxer James J. Braddock as he struggles to support his family throughout the Great Depression. He's given a second chance, but this time he knows what he's fighting for. So this is one of those that is like very straight down the middle biopic. And I used to love this movie. I still really like this movie, but it is very saccharine and could use some things cut out of it, in my opinion. But we can get to that if we get to that.
But also doesn't give his like younger life. It's not like
you're right. Yeah, and there's a lot of biopics about boxers, and you could easily go with Raging Bull. I just don't particularly like enjoying watching that movie, so I didn't go with that. It's a great movie. It's just like it's not a real great hang. This is a better hang.
It's rough. Yeah.
It's rough, dude.
I unfortunately didn't get around to this one. This was one I saw in the past, but I didn't get a chance to rewatch it for this week.
Hey,
it's fine.
But
you
get it.
He's a boxer. He's got a family.
He's gonna win.
He loses a couple fights, wins one.
I feel like this doesn't really get mentioned in the like great boxing movies, and I think it should. It's good. I like it. Fantastic Crow and Paul Giamatti. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like, what other boxing movies?
There's a bunch, There's all.
I know there's a bunch, but like, how would you not consider it in the box? I could see not considering it in the sports movies of all time, but in the boxing movies of all time.
All right, just a haphazard comment there. Maybe we don't need to.
I think to what you're saying, it's 2005. It's 2005. It's kind of like, I feel like it definitely did good at the box office, and the cast is absolutely stacked. Shout out to Paul Giamatti. He
shows up 3 times.
Shows up a bunch of times. Yeah,
shows up 3 times in all of our lists.
Yeah, take a drink every time he shows up this evening.
That dude loves biographies.
Yeah, no, for real. He's like the perfect person to put in. Like, all right, we need someone to be in history. He fits in all eras. I think specifically with like boxing movies and sports dramas and like, I don't know, like maybe even just like a Russell Crowe drama, like for this time. It said this came out in June 2005. Yeah, I was like, I was 14. It was summertime. And I somehow I watched this movie, so I don't know, like I must have been hyped on it back then, but it's never came around to it. But
I support it.
But the legacy, I don't know if
exactly. When's the last Cinderella Man conversation you've had?
Well, Russell Crowe is like more like it's Master and Commander and
Gladiator,
stuff like
nice
that.
Guys.
So.
Let's give it Josh. Tell us more about it, Josh.
It's good. Whatever. It's right down the middle. It's good. Apparently, it's pretty accurate, with the lone exception of Max Baer, the quote-unquote villain of the movie, was actually a super nice dude, and like he did kill at least one person, and he felt terrible about it. Raised $10,000 for the widow, which is a lot of money at the time. Had like sleepless nights, and then the other guy that he was alleged to have killed in the movie. The biopsy, the biopsy on the guy revealed that his brain was swollen from a flu, not from a previous fight that he had from Max Baer. So I'm just saying, like, they painted him out to be this bloodthirsty villain who didn't care. He actually cared a lot, and that's a shame that that's what they chose to put in there. I also would have cut out the whole part about Hooverville, where they go to that place and like there's a whole bunch of people in tents and whatever. And it's like story
that's what the whole movie's about, though.
Cut it out. It's boring. We got to stick to the boxing.
It's about the Great Depression.
The movie slows down. It slows down. We don't need it. We get it. They're in the Great Depression. We already see that when they're not eating.
See, I do find it fascinating that it is their second a collaboration between Russell Crowe and Ron Howard after A Beautiful Mind, which is a biopic that won for Best Picture, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's great. Yeah. So
run it back.
It's interesting that he was like, let's kind of revisit another sort of like another thing, another piece of history. Let's like go back and like let's run it back. Let's try to do it again and let's do something that might have been more. I bet this is more like Ron was more interested in A Beautiful Mind, and then Russell was more interested in Cinderella. Cinderella Man.
Could be. Can't confirm myself.
That's my theory. Is that was
I like it.
their deal.
I don't like A Beautiful Mind that much. There,
that was when I watched within the last few years and was kind of like just kind of perplexed of like why it won Best Picture, but it's competently made, but didn't really
It's just
Was it Miramax?
Period.
Might have been.
Don't know.
It was probably Harvey Weinstein.
All right. Just say that and move on.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, Tommy, what's your number 4 movie? We gotta keep it moving a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, my number 4 movie is Frida.
Yeah.
Frida, directed by Julie Taymor, starring the great Salma Hayek. And
I think she won an Academy Award for this, I believe.
She did not. She was nominated.
She was nominated. But it stars Alfred Molina. Alfred Molina as the great muralist Diego Rivera. He gained 35 pounds for this role. And Jeffrey Rush as Leon Trotsky. Yeah. So
Also
just
shows up in a lot of biopics.
Yeah, yeah, yes, he does. Yes, he does. He's got.
Sometimes
that
you got to
face.
know where your bread's buttered. You know.
Honestly, to be blunt, sometimes you need an old white man who can just
Yeah, right.
in that movie. And so and so this I remember seeing this back in the day, and the sort of reason I chose this was like I remember really appreciating the fact that I'm not very familiar with Frida Kahlo's work, but this movie does a very good job of showing this person's life, showing her life and her relationship with Diego Rivera, and also like showing her paintings in a literal sense in conjunction with like things that are happening in her life. And as you sort of go down this journey of like her throughout her career and the ups and downs of sort of her sort of this marriage and if kind of falling apart in this jilted romance, you see like occasionally the movie will just like show you a painting and just let it sit there, and then it melds into real life via some sort of way. And that's the kind of thing I really love about movies. It's like you can just you can blur that line, and even though this isn't a musician, it does a really good job of like, okay, like here is like an emotional beat that kind of pairs with this really harsh image because this is Frida's a woman who had a very tumultuous life, to say the least. And so all of that pain and emotion sort of came out in her paintings in a really visceral way. And it's just so eerie to see it in moving. And it was one where I kind of like watched it early in the morning as I was kind of like, not like, I don't like to use the word binge as I was watching the movies, but as I was catching up and watching them, I was I want to watch a lot of these, and I was really excited to rewatch this one, and I was not disappointed.
Yeah, very cool. And you mentioned them, but Salma Hayek and Alfred Molina are great in this movie.
Yes.
They carry the movie. They're wonderful.
Yeah, they really do.
And it's you get
very well said.
I love the shots of the real life people in her paintings and the way that they do that. You know, like when it looks like it's one of her paintings, but it's actually like real people like sitting in like the studio.
Yeah.
It's a little complicated. I could have used more Frida painting.
For sure.
Fair.
Personally.
Fair.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I definitely did feel that way as I was watching this, and then I was like, like there is parts of this movie where she sort of like kind of fades into the back a little bit, and sort of I was like, this does feel like producer intervention. And then as I read about the production, that was one of the original takes of one of the screenplays was like, it's Frida and Diego, and I think so it does feel like a little it could be we could have dialed it up more.
We could have focused more on her, but
at least presented it in a way that this is going to be a Frida and Diego movie, which it very much is. Sure. It's like essentially an exploration of their relationship, which is pretty great.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. And they're like all of the acting is incredible.
Yeah.
And when they get abstract with it,
yeah.
I mess with.
Let's ride.
Yeah, but I do agree with what you're saying. Yeah, it is a little bit trippy to kind of be like, we're gonna like have these scenes where it's very much driven by Diego. I think one of my favorites is like earlier on where it's they haven't gotten married yet, but they're basically like flirting and having this party, and like they like the woman's like like whoever can drink the most can dance with me, and like the two like Diego goes in our boy Antonio Banderas goes second, or he goes first, I think, and then
and then she just like rips the bottle.
She takes a big swig. And, the focus goes in on her as like the dance goes in and the music starts to come in, and the singers are singing, and it's just like it all starts like it really comes together really nicely. And,
there are like four really good party scenes in that movie. That are all like different. And, like there's a bar fight scene, and it's all over the place.
Super intense.
I like the end when she shows up in the bed. Hey.
That part. That part is awesome. I wouldn't
leave my bed. Hey.
That
pour
part
me a drink. I won't have one at my funeral.
Literally. It's like Yeah, there's like a portion
Maybe that
of
was
the movie.
disrespectful.
No, there's a portion of the movie
what
they're drinking,
happens.
What happens in the movie?
they're drinking straight tequila, and that first
Yeah.
like half of this movie, I was like,
No wonder
damn,
she
this
had health issues.
It was like,
no,
there
I
was-
don't know.
No. She got impaled by a metal bar.
Right.
Yeah, super intense. And I remember when
I'm
I
sure the
first saw
tequila
it.
didn't
I
help.
remember when I first watched the movie, and it kind of switches over to that weird like claymation animation kind of thing. I was like, legitimately, I was just like, I don't really know what's happening here. But upon rewatch, I'm like, yeah, like I know, like okay, yeah, this is a life changing car accident that the director has chosen to depict in a much more whimsical way, even though what's happening.
Well, yeah, and the train scene is very bizarre. And
Going back to these choices that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
They don't always work in these movies, but I like it when people make clear choices.
Yeah.
And
we have enough movies that we can allow a filmmaker to do whatever they want.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially, I mean, they're depicting an artist, you know, like when you're depicting an artist, I don't know that I want something straight down the middle with no creativity applied to it.
And so to Jack's point, it is, when I was watching that, I was like, it is a little disappointing that for the most of this movie, it feels like a romance movie, and that kind of feels like it could be more like, let's just see painting, let's just see more surrealism, let's get crazier with it. But then I think, okay, maybe like, in order to get this made, you might have had to package it like that, and you might have had to sort of take some steps back and then be like, okay, like we can get crazy with it visually. We can, set the fucking painting on fire at the end, but we need to have like a romance at the center of this just to like sell it as a movie. And so that's where like the movie parts of these kind of comes into it, where it's like, okay, well, like it can be an artist, it could be a politician or whatever, and sometimes the scale is just too broad. And so, like for some of these are like, you can. It's nice to kind of focus on this and the funeral and the bed and the imagery of all of that really bookends this really beautifully. Where like it starts off where like you're preparing for something and this bed is getting carried out the window, and then at the end you realize after I was in tears when she was like, "Yo, like my body has betrayed me." Like I have like, and I as the person who's been to the ER one too many times recently, I'm like, yeah, like I fucking feel that of like, yo, like sometimes you just go through some shit of like, I need to just recalibrate or whatever. But like for the people who have gone through like the severe chronic pains, it's like, like this is like I feel like a love letter to to people who've kind of gone through that, and it feels like such a really
that was like her whole life, and I was surprised that like the middle of that film didn't really like like portray that. And the third act of Frida is like what Frida is all about. I feel and really gets into the fact that she had chronic pain and was going through a lot, and everything that had built up with her and Diego Rivera. The middle of it kind of like scoots beyond that, I feel like, and doesn't really tell the audience that she was always going through these like
for sure
horrible inside feelings. Anyways, it's a good movie.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes. Things. Who knows what they probably had to hash that out over 1,000 times. Leading up to the point where like, okay, well, we gotta make a decision. But that's my choice.
Jack.
What are we on? 4?
Yeah, 4.
Love and Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
2015. Sorry, I said 2020. 2015, directed by Bill Pohlad. Stars Paul Dano, John Cusack, Elizabeth Banks, and Paul Giamatti again.
Hey.
He's back. Tells the story of Brian Wilson, one of the founding members of the Beach Boys, and it alternates between two periods of his life: the recording of Pet Sounds in 1966 and Wilson's struggles with mental health and his relationship with his psychologist, Dr. Eugene Landy, in the 1980s.
Okay.
Played by Giamatti.
This movie's really good.
And Paul Dano plays...
the 1966 timeline is played by Paul Dano and is a wonderful, fascinating chronicle of the production of Pet Sounds, which is the Beach Boys' most famous album.
Magnum opus.
Magnum opus, considered also one of the greatest albums of all time. Gives you a crazy glimpse inside Wilson's genius, the relationship with the band, and kind of the slow emergence of his mental health issues. The 1980s timeline finds Wilson kind of struggling with the most with his mental health, and is currently involved in a 24-hour therapy program with Dr. Landy, who is Paul Giamatti. He meets a woman, Elizabeth Banks, who later becomes his wife, and starts dating her. And through her eyes, we kind of see that Landy's mistreatment of that he is taking advantage and mistreating Wilson, and it might be provoking his mental health issues even more. I think both of these roles and this casting is like brilliant. I think that Dano is young Wilson and Cusack is old Wilson. They're both doing both of their things. Sorry, I just hit the mic. But it's perfect for what the role needs. Cusack is kind of a more out there, like, you know, older, mumbling and like talking all, you know, whatever he's doing, kind of John Cusack sort of thing. And Dano is more of a like vibrant and like, you know, more like in your face sort of representation of a vibrant young musician and whatever. I love this movie, as I think I just said. We get one of something that we talked about, which is in the recording studio, the recording of something that we know has been recorded,
right?
And they do it incredibly. Maybe my favorite example of a rock or musical recording in a studio scene and landscape.
See, this is one where I started it today, and as I didn't finish. I watched the first 15 minutes of it.
I haven't seen all of it either. I'm sorry.
But I am actually, as I was watching, I was like, I'm so tuned in on this, and I'm down with like the approach of this two-sided approach, essentially. Yeah, it's like I was fascinated. I was like, yo, I'm so in. And it gets like Paul Dano is so underrated and so good, and yeah. So I'm completely sold when and I was like, yeah, really stoked when I found out it was a Beach Boys.
Kyle Jackson would be extremely disappointed in both of you because he loves this movie, as do I. But the whole Beach Boys go to Japan without Brian Wilson. Like, he doesn't want to go, and so he stays behind and decides to record an experimental album without anybody, and plans for them to come back and just like do the vocals on top of it. And seeing him like do all the different little things that are the sounds that you hear in that album, that famous album, and like how he did them is just like that's why I'm going to a rock biopic, is to be explained in a beautiful style how this record was made.
Well, I have to say,
100%,
I knew I wasn't going to get to this movie just for timing, and I texted you guys earlier in the week saying, like, you know, I had a weird week. I'm not going to be able to get to all these. But today I did spend time watching some scenes on YouTube, and I did watch all the musical production scenes, you know, when he's actually making the music. And so I'm glad I watched that part at least. And that's the part that you really liked about this. Well, I mean, it sounds like you liked the whole movie, but I'm glad I watched those scenes because those were awesome.
Yes, and there's a nice thing that the older things are shot in seemingly like a film way, and the John Cusack scenes are very like digital seeming and very like simple movie making.
So, you know, like basic. I was 100% sold on like just the musical context of it, cause I know a little bit about the Beach Boys, but I like didn't really realize like Brian Wilson was going through what he was going through, and like didn't really like being on stage. And I like that the opening of this movie, like the first montage is like it gives you kind of like a rapid fire of like, this is like the Beach Boys hits, here's like some album cover photo shoots, and kind of like we're getting past kind of this, like this could be its own movie right here, like this journey.
The first couple years,
and now we're jumping to Brian Wilson having panic attacks in an airplane, being like, I gotta go home, and I'm like, okay, I'm so on board, because now he's like talking to his bandmates, and he's like, yeah, like the Beach Boys, the Beatles, they copied our swag, like we were doing like the harmony thing. We were doing la la la, and they were doing dee dee dee. Like they're biting our bars over there. First of all, so the fact that he's like he wants to make an album to compete with the Beatles, I was like, this is a really really cool, like just the context of it is just awesome. So I was like, yeah, like, I'm totally on board. So
yeah, and then he went and made a totally absurd like album that nobody was asking for, and this is one of my favorite tropes of any sort of biography or biopic, is like, the end point of this product, and you just get to like see it unfold, like what happened. Sometimes it's nice, like I said, to learn things. The other times it's like to know what happens and to just like to revel in the fact that like, ooh, I know that this is going to be the greatest album of all time. And even in this movie, like once it's released, it didn't do that well. It wasn't the greatest album of all time when it was released, and people didn't like absolutely love it. And so I don't know, having that context is just a satisfying.
Yeah, no, I was sold. I was sold.
Watching these films.
Yeah, no, I was sold. I just got beat by the buzzer. I just ran out of time because there's like I was just like there's no way I can like. I've seen Lawrence of Arabia. I've seen the longer ones, the longer movies on the list. I've messed up again. I'm so sorry. I'm so terrible. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm going to cut that out. All right. My number 4 movie is.
You cut it out.
My number 4 movie is The King's Speech, which is again kind of another right. What?
Couldn't believe you would pick this one.
Anyway, thanks. I must have missed something. I don't know. Anyway, this is another straight down the middle sort of biopic, and stars Jeffrey Rush and, more importantly, Colin Firth playing King George VI, and also Helena Bonham Carter as his wife. Directed by Tom Cooper, follows the future aforementioned King George VI, and who has a stutter or a stammer, as they say in England. Chronicles his struggles as he remedies the speech impediment and ascends to the throne, culminating in a nationwide speech that he must execute to show strength and unity for a country in the midst of war.
So good.
A lot of I like this movie, and a lot of people don't.
I know,
because was that what you were referencing earlier?
Yeah, everybody's stupid.
A lot of people don't like this movie because it did beat The Social Network for Best Picture, which I will admit I don't agree with. And The Social Network is better.
Yeah.
And also...
But nobody knew that at the time. I mean, they knew it at the time, and it was like a thing. But now The Social Network is going to be one of the greatest movies ever made, and The King's Speech is just going to like
rightfully
go away forever, and nobody will ever talk about it because everybody's so mad about it. But The King's Speech is good.
Yeah, The King's Speech.
It's good.
Makes me feel good.
Yeah. When I talked about doing this episode, Alex was like, "Ooh, King's Speech. What about that?" And I was like, I don't know if that's gonna fly.
No,
for me.
So when you did it, I was like, "Thank God."
Well, I also waited until you guys gave your 5 before I said anything, and by that time I was like,
strategic.
"Damn." Well, I was like, I'm going to let Tommy choose his first, and then I was like, I guess I'll let Jack choose his first. I don't think I let you get all 5.
No, you did.
Have 5.
As soon as Tommy T put in his 5 immediately, and as soon as he did that, I put in 5.
For sure.
Okay, so there you go. There was a couple that I was sorry to see go, but at some point I got to choose some biopics, so this was one of them. Anyway, it's a good movie, and I think the thing that makes this movie really good is the chemistry between Colin Firth and Jeffrey Rush. That's the movie. You know, they're wonderful. Obviously, they set up the great speech at the end. You know how it's going to go, you know? And they're setting it up. It's very formulaic, this movie. But like I said in the beginning, if you're going to do this, you have to execute it well. And they really do. I think it's executed flawlessly. And yes, it's a bit saccharine. Yes, it's a bit sentimental. But the chemistry between those two guys are great. The scenes where they're together is just wonderful. Everything else, you know, kind of pick it up, sort of a thing. But it's really
like
good.
Don't even feel it being that saccharine. I feel it being saccharine in a way that any movie ever made in the 1990s was saccharine. You know
That's
what I mean?
fair. This was made 10 years later, though.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, it just feels like a movie.
It's a movie, and it's a good one. Sounds like it's mostly accurate.
Yeah.
Historical figures like Churchill and a couple other people were not present at the final scene, and they had to put them in that room to sort of, you know, give some emotional weight with people we recognize. You know, if they put the people that were actually there, we don't know who those people are as Americans.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
We're Americans.
Put Churchill there. So it sounds like other than that kind of stuff, it was pretty accurate. So really good movie.
I agree. I love the wall in his therapy office. The wall.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Beautiful.
I think so.
Yeah,
just in
it's
general.
like a dramatic
Looks
wall behind that looks like really weird and like.
Well, his therapy office in general is pretty cool. It's like a really big space.
I know.
You know, it's like
great production design. It's a good
costs a lot of money in London these days.
Wait,
I don't know if a speech therapist is commanding that kind of real estate.
He said, "Wait, what?"
Just saying.
Yeah, no, this one's solid. This one's solid for sure.
Sorry, we went off in a different direction there. Sorry.
No, absolutely.
No, we had a lot of emotions going on. I think people are tripping about this movie too much.
They are. It's a good movie. You should watch The King's Speech if you haven't. And if you're not that into movies, this is like the perfect one to get into. It's a good feel-good movie. You're going to get not a lot of stakes. Actually, they're going to war. It is a pretty big stakes. But, you know, all he's got to do is
it's a precursor to The Crown, dude. You know? It's like...
Yeah, that's true. Same king in the beginning of The Crown. He dies, though.
Yeah, I feel it might also be like the last, like... Well, I guess, you know, The Crown is a good example of that kind of... British crown culture still being like something we watch, but I never was really big into the royal family and stuff like that.
I'm not either.
So I don't know. Like I don't really
the
follow
king
that.
Notwithstanding.
But I just remember this is a fun movie, because you have this great play between like the poshness of the king and just like the teacher being like fuck you, just say shit. It's like this whole swearing montage is brilliant.
I love the swearing montage.
I love when they like go to Jeffrey Rush's house and meet his family. Like is that the best scene in the movie? Maybe. You know, like in
I do like the titular King's Speech.
Yeah, of course.
Love my guy Jeffrey Rush is like giving him pointers, and one time he's like struggling to say something, and one of the tricks he says is that you should swear, and so they cut to Jeffrey Rush, who silently says fuck a bunch of times. He goes
yes
to get him to like get out of his it's great, makes me laugh.
All
right,
it was really good.
Tommy, what's your number 3 movie?
My number 3 is Straight Outta Compton. Yes, directed by F. Gary Gray. This is starring O'Shea Jackson Jr. in his this is his feature length. Feature debut. So. His first movie. Corey Hawkins, Jason Mitchell, and Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti as Jerry Heller. And I chose this one because I think it has a lot of the things that I like about music biopics, where it's like, okay, there's like songs being recorded and made. It has like a really big sort of feeling in terms of like how this band kind of connects to the culture at large. And it's just like, in terms of it going through like this period of time is a really fascinating time in terms of like, you have like police brutality and gang violence sort of colliding with like the emergence of gangster rap and like just this shifting of music, and it has some moments that are very cheesy and on the nose a little bit in terms of like people saying stuff that is very specific. But besides that, I think you have a very good performance at the center of it with O'Shea Jackson Jr. as Ice Cube, which is just like an uncanny kind of performance. And then, yeah, just the fun of just like.
We should also say it's his kid.
Is his kid?
Yeah,
and he looks exactly like him. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Good job by him.
Yeah, one of like. I feel like this is the first time a movie is kind of doing it in this way so specifically, where you have like, yeah, this is an artist who we're all familiar with that exists and like has been in movies and that we're very familiar with how he looks, and so he's going to be portrayed by his son specifically, and it's going to be very good. And I don't know if that's
great.
Yeah, so for this, yeah, it works really well. And I remember me and Adam RC, we saw this together in the theater, and yeah, just like it opening up with just like just like the sounds of just Los Angeles and Compton, and yeah, it's
great LA movie.
Yeah, from the very beginning, it feels very LA. It feels very big, and yeah, over the course of it, you see their lives, you see who these people are, but also you see like their relationship with the police and just the music industry, and just it all just kind of collides into this like just crazy collage. And yeah, it's just a dope movie to watch. It's a fun movie. It's a party movie. It's a good concert movie. A good performances. It's just dope.
And they keep bringing up the race issues, but they also juxtapose it against the Rodney King riots, which is a very real time thing. That if you're not aware of this world, at least you can put it in a time and place as something that happened amongst all of pop culture. Not pop culture, but was a huge news story at the time. So I mean, they included that smartly in there too.
Yeah, this point in history, is very, very hot, very tumultuous.
As far as learning about more minute details of the band, the whole Eazy-E side of things is something I really didn't know that much about.
Yeah,
and the scene of them recording Straight Outta Compton and him not being able to rap. And them having to like convince him, and it's just like I never knew that about Eazy-E. Eazy-E was always just like the hardest dude, and I always just thought could rap, and
it was also cool.
That was just like crazy.
In that specific scene, it was cool to see Dr. Dre, who was listening to it, trying to get him to do a bunch of stuff. Dr. Dre, who is known for discovering talent and producing all these records, when he finally hits the right note, he goes, "That was it. Let's do that." And it was cool to see it both from Eazy-E figuring out how to rap and from Dr. Dre knowing when he has it.
From the production standpoint of it, like, let's do 50 more takes of you doing lines. I'm just going to splice it all together. You don't need to rap the whole thing. Just like rap each line individually.
Yeah,
the more you guys can't hear it, but I have an ice cream truck going by right now.
Goodness,
we can't hear it.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Well, that sounds very East LA.
Yeah, it's cool. Like more
I did it intentionally.
Hell yeah! The more I rewatch this movie, the more I like that it kind of emphasizes, like Dre is the producer. He is the musician here. Eazy is the gangster who they need to sort of form it all together. And Ice Cube is the poet and the writer, bringing in all of the lyrics and all the verses. And it's just a great like amalgamation of everything. And I love the shot in the studio where it's like this split where Eazy's on one side and it's like dark and the other side is like lit, and it's a good time. And there's a lot of really great performances in this movie. Like Cube's first performance of Dope Man, one of my favorite songs on that record, is just like it just captures the whole crowd. And I think one of my favorite aspects of biopics is when you can have a performer clearly doing the song on stage and just fucking owning the role so well. And the performances they just scale up and just get bigger and bigger in this movie.
Yeah, really good, great movie.
Yeah.
Pretty long.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is long. I would say, like, I'm a big sucker just for hip hop. I am wearing a Wu-Tang shirt right now.
There you go.
And I just love hip hop biopics in particular, even the ones that are a little shakier and not as great, because I just look at it as just one like cinematic universe where where sometimes Suge Knight will just show up and just just ruin everything, and it's not good. And yeah, it's just the Suge Knight in this movie is the best one, and is the most
super
menacing.
scary.
Yeah, very scary. Yeah, and just like and also one of my favorite scenes of like people listening to a song and listening to No Vaseline and just like Jerry just turning it off immediately. He's like no, like what's this about me? Like it's you crossed the line. This is bad.
I was gonna say the no Vaseline part is also elite.
Yeah, and so I do feel sometimes some of these they do get bloated and get really big, and in particular, for this group and for this period of time, I think you could make an argument and there are movies for all of these people, and so some of these people
for sure.
And so we have several Tupac movies, a Biggie movie, and so you could argue you could have just an Ice Cube movie and just a movie
Definitely.
about Dr. Dre, and so
But they do give each of the characters their own story and their own arc, and they spend the time. So I mean, it is long, but like it's not slow. It's very good.
Yeah. It just has so many things that happen within it. Yeah, it can sort of feel a little bit long, but I just by the time it continues to kind of go on, it's like then Snoop Dogg shows up. You're like, well, this could just keep going. Like this movie could literally.
Well, it's a whole. It's a whole thing. Yeah, and I think it does it. I think it benefits from not focusing on one of them and rather the ensemble.
Also, as someone who isn't super into hip hop, like we're going through it's only a matter of 5 years that we're talking about, but now we're introducing, Snoop Dogg at this point, Tupac at this point. And it's like, okay, now like mentally I know, because I was young for the time, but I knew who those people were when they started coming out with records. So like I have a little bit of a perception of where we are in the music scene, in the popular music scene anyway. I'm sure there were a bunch of hip hop references that I didn't understand. But,
I mean, it does its job of like just kind of introducing it for anyone who's an outsider. Like this is the story in like the broad strokes, and from that like you have plenty to go off.
Jack, what do you got for number 3, dude?
Number 3, I got Selena. 1997. Written and directed by Gregory Nava. Starring Jennifer Lopez, Edward James Olmos, John Seda, Constance Marie, a bunch of people. Tells the story of Tejano music legend Selena Quintanilla Perez, chronicling the rise in fame and superstardom until her tragic murder.
Yeah, this is a really good one. This is one I saw very young, like on TV or something, and I've like sat down earlier today and I watched the first 30 minutes of it, which is like the youth of Selena, and very much like you get a little bit of some performances, and so it basically from that 30 minutes I was like, I adore this movie. Because again, it does all of the things that I want. Because again, you have like a fantastic performance. Not to step on you, but this is such a good choice. Such a good choice.
Thank you. I agree. I gotta say, this is we all, at least I judge movies on how many scenes I like. I am not cutting any scenes from this film. I think this movie. I mean, sure, there are some more on-the-nose aspects of it. It's a little... I mean, I don't know. I can't even say that many negative things about this movie at all. I think every scene is important, and it's great and enjoyable. I think it's funny. I think it's beautiful. I think all the acting is absolutely incredible. Josh?
Seen it.
It's.
I was going to try to get through the whole conversation, hopefully without revealing that.
No, it's
I have it on my wall over here. It's one of Becky's favorites. It's just I just haven't seen it, and I couldn't get to it this week, and I'm a little scared, and I don't want to be depressed afterwards.
It's one I would say I would wait to watch it because it is. That first 30 got me.
Yeah.
I think there's been many lists or different episodes that we could have done out of this one episode, one of which being like rock biopics or music biopics.
Sure.
Yeah.
This would be hard pressed. I don't know if I could put anything above this. I love this movie so much.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We open with her like at a sold out concert.
Long list.
We open with her at a sold out concert at the Astrodome in Houston. Obviously, at the peak of her fame, somebody says something like, "We've never seen this big of crowd in the world." Then we immediately go back to 1961 to where her father is in a doo-wop group in Texas, and he can't find a place for an audience. The white people don't want him, who like the doo-wop music, which they are doing because he's Mexican, and the Mexicans don't want him because he's playing white people music. Then we flash forward to him having a family in the 80s, and him discovering that Selena has a voice, and she's like, I don't know, 12.
She's 9.
She's 9. There you go.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to make a family band with all of my children," and none of them know how to play music. And he tries to teach them like doo-wop music, and they're all like, "Oh, we like modern music, but not Mexican American modern music or anything like American modern music." And then he teaches them music through his old stuff, and then eventually like starts teaching Selena, who doesn't know how to speak Spanish, more Mexican music. Yeah. And so the whole film is this a search for identity and like Mexican American pride, and eventually she becomes the symbol of Mexican American people, and then there's like a whole sequence of them being nervous of whether the Mexican people will accept her. And there's an awesome speech by the dad about you need to be more Mexican than the Mexicans want, more American than the Americans want, and I don't know. It's all just like led by Jennifer Lopez giving the performance of her life, and it's an incredible film.
Yeah. Edward James Olmos as her dad. And the thing I was sold on, like the aspect of the first sequence when she's at the Astrodome is she just like lets off this like amazing medley of songs, and we don't there's no like, not to spoil it too much, but there's no montage. It's just straight up just song real quick, and it's just her and the band, and it's just like the crowd going crazy.
Yeah, and it's almost like they did that as like a thing, like they. Right? Was I wrong in thinking that they like made that like those 3 different songs into one?
Yeah. Just like a little, just like boom, boom, boom. It's like
they
it's
did
a little
like montage. Yeah.
But this little medley or whatever. But regardless, it is fucking medley. I got it. Sick. It is just super sick, and I just like it, and it's like a big scale. It's just shot in 97, and it's just like great. Yeah, it's like everyone is in that stadium for real. Jennifer Lopez is singing for real. This is all like authentic, and it just feels just different, and it hits different in terms of like I feel like I'm watching history, like not to be cheesy, but I feel like I'm like watching history like in a real way. It's like, okay, like, I'm gonna learn something, and I'm like gonna feel this, like take me to that place, and it feels like authentic, and to dial it even further, it's like you go back in time, and she's like singing as a little kid, and it's like her voice is cracking, and the dad's just like, he just goes 0 to 100. He's like, oh, you're gonna we're gonna be a band, we're a family band now, and
they're like, we don't want to play this music, and
he's like, shut the fuck up. He's like, we're in a band right now. It's crazy.
And it's great because there's this weird dynamic of like him as a young man wanting to like play music and only playing white music, and not being accepted for that. And then when he discovers his daughter, he has to teach them music based off of white music. But as soon as they learn music through that avenue, then he's like, I'm going to teach you Spanish, because he realizes that was like what he was lacking when he was like as a youth, and that all happens in the first like 30 minutes of the movie. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah.
Sounds like a good one.
Yes,
it's really good.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's one I'm going to finish literally after this conversation's over.
Good.
All right, my number 3 is Tick, Tick, Boom, directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda. His first feature, didn't know that. Stars Andrew Garfield as Larson. What's his first name? I wrote it down. I missed it. Jonathan.
John Larson.
Yeah. Alongside Robin DeJesus, Alexander Shipp, Joshua Henry, Judith Light, Vanessa Hudgens, whole bunch of people. It's based on a play that Jonathan Larson wrote, a semi-autobiographical play telling of his writing of his first musical, Superbia. This is kind of confusing. So he wrote a play about himself called Tick, Tick, Boom, about the play that he was trying to write called Superbia, which never was produced and released.
Correct.
And then a couple years later, Larson wrote Rent and became very famous for that posthumously because he tragically died the night before Rent was released in a very surprising and tragic fashion. Really just heartbreaking. It's a very stylized movie of the and a very interpreted version of the events. Larson says everything that I wrote is true except for the stuff I made up, which I thought was funny. And this rests on the shoulders of Garfield. Of Andrew Garfield. He's just fantastic in the movie. I think the musical numbers are really good. I think it's a really kind of heartbreaking and real story that Larson was famous for portraying about young people who have a lot of issues and dealing with them together in New York. Has a lot of found family themes. And I think it's really good, a really creative way to tell this story. And very cool that Lin-Manuel Miranda was involved and directed it. I thought.
This was the first one I watched amongst the batch of these movies, and really enjoyed it. I feel like it is a little bit of an acquired taste since it is like this is not only is this a biopic about a musician, it's a biopic about a musical, so it's presented as a musical. And so if you don't like biopics and if you don't like musicals, then
it's going to be a tough hang.
Take a cigarette break right now because this is like us. This is the most theater kid movie I have ever seen in my life. But in that way, it's really charming and it's really beautiful because it's very earnest and very honest about like just these struggles of trying to get this stuff made. And Lin-Manuel really he bends it and he really gets malleable with it in ways where sometimes I was like, I don't know if this is working, but he's trying something and I give him thumbs up for trying because like it's over the top and it's fun.
I'm with you on that. It's not one of my favorite movies, and it's not even one of my favorite biopics, but it's a cool one to talk about because of the thing that Jack talked about. Choices are being made. We're doing this as stylistically. It's different, and it adheres to the spirit of, at least what I assume, because I've seen Rent, it adheres to the spirit of what Jonathan Larson is trying to do in his stories, and that they're about real people who have real problems, and juxtaposed against sort of the musical theater backdrop, which is what he's all about. So I thought that was really cool.
Excuse me. Yeah, and it's a period of time too where you have like the AIDS epidemic in the background of all of the work that he's doing, and he's just like, a lot of the tragedy is being drawn from like these are young queer people that are dying, and like he's like, my friends are dying, and this is sad, and so like this is a tragedy happening in real time. And no one's responding to it on a government or federal level. So,
and also at parts in the story, Larson himself loses sight of that because he's so singularly focused on becoming successful that he loses sight of a little bit of what's important. As one of his friends is legitimately having a lot of struggles with AIDS. So it's a really interesting story in that way.
Yeah, and that's also kind of poignant too because that is like a very pertinent and that's like the whole that's the sad part of Straight Outta Compton is like there is the AIDS epidemic that is what takes Eazy-E's life, unfortunately. And so, yeah, as I was watching that, I was like, I think it's interesting that there are like these really far distant kind of cultural things happening that are just like pinpointing like, well, it's still early 90s, the AIDS epidemic is happening, and it is slicing through all of these cultures, like, no matter what. And
that's
so
a really great point.
I thought, as I was like kind of like watching all these movies and like kind of different points of history, I was like, it's one thing to kind of joke, like, oh, like there's like, you know, Jeffrey Rush and Paul Giamatti are kind of in all these movies, but like their history is this fabric of things that are connecting one thing to another. Where it's just like, it's like you wouldn't have Straight Outta Compton if Lincoln literally didn't fucking fucking end slavery. So in a weird way, where it's like these things it's all kind of connecting in a really small, tiny way in terms of like, these are small epidemics or, crises that can kind of happen, or, this is music that's coming out or whatever. But, these are still like cultural moments where shifts are happening, and, all of this art kind of blooms from it in a really interesting and beautiful and tragic way.
And mental health with art and the way that unfolds is essentially a part of all of these things that aren't necessarily political. I realized that 4 of my people were assassinated, were killed.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah,
3 of them are politicians, and 1 of them is a musician, and my 5th thing is a musician as well. I had like 3 politicians, 2 musicians, 4 of them were killed, murdered.
Damn,
that's
crazy.
Yeah, that's a trip.
4 of mine died young. Anyway, we're going to take a break on that note, and we'll come back in a little bit and finish off our final 2 movies.
All right.
All right, we're back. We each got 2 more movies to go. I've talked about at least somewhat my 2 movies so far, so that'll be interesting. Tommy, you're up. What's your 3rd movie?
No, third.
A second movie. Excuse me. Sorry.
Number
math. I was told there would be no math.
Sure. Number 2 is funny enough. Is Piece by Piece. It is the movie about Pharrell. It is a Lego biopic, directed by Morgan Neville. And it is just a delightful movie. It is very traditional in terms of it's like a documentary kind of framing.
Yeah.
So there's narration, there's flashbacks.
It's cool.
It's told specifically from Pharrell's point of view, so it is very much biased to wherever he wants to tell you, and the other people we get involved. But when I watched it, I was in love with this movie from the second I started watching it, and it just keeps on giving in terms of like the fun journey through Pharrell's career. If you're a fan of hip hop, if you're a fan of Pharrell, if you've been alive in the last 20 years, you've heard his music, regardless if you have a choice or not. And so like, whether it be, like something, super, super sick or something kind of annoying, he's been in music and culture for so long, and it's kind of crazy to kind of like line everything up and be like, here's his hits, and just like the story of them. And the fun of, it's a Lego movie. It's fun. It's creative. He's like giving artists beats that are like these little Lego globy bouncy things that are unique to them. And it's like, it's just like that's like as fun as it gets for me. Yeah. It's just so
falls under the, we made some choices category.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Can I say, Thomas, you broke my Lego boycott.
I was wondering if this was going to happen.
Wow.
I have never seen a Lego movie before. I don't really approve of them. I think they're
not bad.
Of course they're not bad, but they're money grabs, and they're like, what are we doing right now? This wasn't a money grab because I don't think a lot of people knew that it ever happened. And I respect the story behind choosing to do it as a Lego movie, and I'm happy with it. And I think it was like I didn't know a good amount. You're right. It was like very much of a documentary, except it was a documentary with parts that acted out certain things, which I liked. and
it was an interesting,
extremely
amalgamation of everything.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was
I'm
like,
sorry, Jack. I interrupted you.
No, you're good. It was like, I didn't like once we like maybe 10 minutes into the movie, they start doing the what's the word? It's called a talking head. I think there's another word for it, but like that wasn't a thing. And then like his parents are there, and what is the term?
A freeze frame?
No,
a freeze frame.
No.
Okay.
It's like a talking
one
head.
Shot, a close up.
No, it's like a talking head. It's called like in reality TV when they go to someone on the side. It's called a confessional. Hit my head. All right, we got there.
Fade away at the buzzer.
Yeah, I hit my head too. Confessional. Anyways, then it became like a documentary, but they were also still splicing in. Anyways, it was interesting.
Yeah.
What you were talking about as far as like the making, like my favorite part, I think, of the whole movie was when they were making the beats and they visually came across as like a little stack of certain Legos that you wouldn't think. And then his recording studio stacked up with all these different things that were little symbols of whatever the beats that they were represented. I love.
Yeah. It's a good time. I am kind of with you with like
time.
So with Lego movies abroad, I feel like they require their own visual language because they move very fast and there's a lot of things happening and it can feel like an assault of the senses a little bit. So like I'm with you like the Lego movies like or like even like the first two like the Lego Batman one is just like you can sit down and watch that and be like, okay, there's so much happening on screen right now. And so with this, I feel like, okay, it's more of a documentary pace. It does
it's different.
Yeah, it's a little bit slower, but it's still like there's still a lot of like franticness on screen. And so I think that can be kind of a barrier for some people. But I think like once you kind of get over that, I think if you have a couple beers, you kind of hang out with some friends and just watch this and just let the music kind of come through. It's
for sure.
It's a dope.
And it makes sense because Happy was in the original Lego movie, and that was like his big thing. And
Yeah.
An assault on the senses is a perfect way to describe that.
Very good.
I wanted to point that out, but you were saying some good stuff, so I wanted to let you finish.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it is. I feel like with a lot of animated movies these days, a lot of it's like it's maximalist. It's just the most you can get on screen. So it's always nice. Correct. It's always great to see things when you see things slow down. It's always nice.
That's why we bring T onto this podcast.
Appreciate
Slow
it.
us down.
Appreciate it. I talk way too fast.
No.
Jack, what's your number 2 movie?
Oh, shoot. My number 2 movie?
Or I could tell you what it is.
Yeah, my number 2 movie is Milk.
Yeah. 2008
film directed by Gus Van Sant, written by Dustin Lance Black, who also won the best original screenplay that year.
I don't know how that works.
I think it was original.
I'm always confused because it's like original, but like this person existed. How is that original? But I guess it's not based on another piece of writing.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I actually don't know which one it was. Do you?
I don't know if I buy it. I don't.
All right. Well, it stars Sean Penn, Josh Brolin, James Franco, Emile Hirsch, Diego Luna. It tells the story of the gay activist and politician Harvey Milk. Starts off with his move from New York to San Francisco, and then goes over his development of the gay community in the Castro district of San Francisco. I mean, there was already a large gay community there, but not in the Castro specifically. The Castro
and he gave eventually gave them a political voice and
correct.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you again.
No, you're good. The Castro was a working class district at the time, and he came in and wanted to, like as you said, give a voice to young gay people specifically, and very much pushed towards people coming out of the closet. That was like his platform, which was controversial at the time because of how dangerous that was.
Yeah, they experience a lot of discrimination.
This movie was very formative to me as far as it came out in 2008. I was probably a junior or senior in high school. And the filmmaking of it kind of blew my mind. It cuts between found footage, normal footage, and then also like 16 millimeter footage shot by Gus Van Sant that makes it seem like found footage, and it's all cut and edited together in a very, very effective, beautiful way. I remember it really like sparked my mind as far as screenwriting goes, because it's so expansive and there's so many different scenes that like are from like short little like moments and flashbacks and all these different things to like long thought out like conversations. It's I love it. I've always loved this movie. I will say the fact that the majority of men in this movie are not actually gay kind of outdates it a little bit. I don't think that matters too much. But I think if this movie was made nowadays, it would be a primarily gay cast, which it is not in this film.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's worth pointing out.
No,
it's worth pointing out.
That's kind of how I felt too as I was rewatching it, because I was like, we're from the Bay Area, and like I went to school in San Francisco, and I remember very clearly when this movie was coming out, and I was like, being like really hyped on it. It's like a really local San Francisco movie.
Yes. And they used a lot of local people, and specifically like main famous like local people in the gay community that are just like extras or like very small speaking roles. But I'm not to interrupt you, but I remember when they were just like going out for extras casting calls for like all of these scenes.
Yeah, honestly, the only thing I was like, as I was rewatching it, I was like, I can't help but think how visually different this movie would be cast if this was shot now versus how it was shot back then. Because I was like, this feels very much like most of these are like white men in terms of who we're kind of seeing on screen. I forget what the female activist's name is, but she's like a great breath of fresh air when she shows up in that scene where they're all just like talking. It's like, right, we need like a lesbian in here. It's like, all right, cool. It's like we need to mix it up a little bit. And I do feel like the datedness a little bit where like, okay, like Diego Luna, who also shows up in Frida as a great lover.
Yep.
Gets more of a substantial role here, much further into his career, but also kind of feel like shows up and then kind of is killed in a way where like he like shows up and then disappears. And I want more. I feel like if this was, I feel like even Gus Van Sant might agree. Like if they were to redo this in 2026, the overall conversation would be like, okay, if it's truly like a queer movie in San Francisco, this is going to look way more rainbow and way more black and way more Latino and way more Asian and way more everything, as opposed to kind of like and that's kind of, this is a movie about politics and like a gay white man going into that world, and so I kind of understand it for what it is. And so I kind of like, I'm not really mad at it, but like, I just think it probably would be a little bit different now.
Yes, I think it's more about the Hollywood at the time.
Definitely.
Like at the time, I don't think anybody's
something they're still dealing with.
Batting an eye. I think at the time it was like very much accepted, and we were all like, "Thank you for doing this." Now we look back, and it's like James Franco and Emile Hirsch and Diego Luna. We're like, okay, these are all just like a bunch of straight white dudes. We could have done
sure.
Yeah, but I will say, and I don't know, this isn't controversial necessarily, is that Sean Penn is amazing in this movie. He won an Academy Award. And so while, yes, I totally agree, he's just incredible.
He's incredible. And I don't think that would be, I don't think that would be changed necessarily.
Yeah.
But maybe the supporting and...
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I think Sean Penn is, like you said, gives the...
it's one of his career-defining.
He's fantastic. He's absolutely unreal. And if you're like even slightly familiar with Harvey Milk and just like the cadence of his voice, he melted into that role. And to kind of piggyback on the visuals of it, it's just shot so dreamily. It makes San Francisco look so beautiful, and just like it's just all just like this very just like lofty, like delicately shot. Every time you're in City Hall, it's like this is like
I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna say it right now. Let's think about it. Greatest San Francisco movie ever made.
Whoa. Okay. That's a hot take.
Most important San Francisco movie ever made.
Maybe.
What
maybe.
What are you gonna say, Josh?
Fucking Zodiac, dude. It's one of my favorite movies.
That's the knee jerk reaction. Like Zodiac is, but
really?
Also like I don't know. But Milk also feels.
So I married an axe murderer?
No. I hate the call.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Milk is great.
I put Mrs. Doubtfire over So I Married an Axe Murderer.
I don't think I would, but I get it. You know, I get it.
2017 Godzilla.
Oh. Whoa. Hey. Okay. This is we've been thinking about how to do a Bay Area movie thing lately, so maybe we should table this for a little discussion later.
No, I think Milk might be the most. I think Milk might do it.
San Francisco specifically and important were keywords to say there.
I remember when they very important. They literally shut down the whole entire Castro and turned it into a 1970s Castro for like 2 weeks. It was a big thing.
I feel like a lot of the stores kept the signs too. I could be wrong about that.
I just remember them coming in.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Cleaning up shop
somewhere else,
making it exactly how it was in the 1970s.
It's a great movie, and I don't mean to. I mean, important. Is the word you used, and I don't know that Zodiac is more important than Milk. I like it more, but
Zodiac is for sure more of a film bro movie and more of like it's like Jake Gyllenhaal is one of my favorite actors, and I love watching him go insane on screen. It's one of my favorite things to do is watch Jake Gyllenhaal just go crazy.
You got a lot of options.
Yeah, you got a lot of options there.
Friggin' Ambulance.
That's
a gift that keeps on. I haven't seen Ambulance.
I haven't seen Ambulance. Yeah,
10 out of 10.
Michael Bay.
10 out of 10.
Oh,
they're flipping real cars over, baby.
Ambulance emergency pod coming soon. Milk's great.
Yes.
All right, my number 2 movie is something that's a very small movie. Not a lot of people have seen it or heard of it. It's called Lawrence of Arabia. This is one of the greatest movies ever made. Full stop. Directed by David Lean. Stars Peter O'Toole, Alec Guinness, Omar Sharif, Anthony Quinn, Jack Hawkins, Anthony Quayle, Claude Rains, my guy, and many others. Follows T.E. Lawrence and chronicles his experiences in the Ottoman provinces of Hejaz and Syria during the First World War. In particular, his attacks on Aqaba, Damascus, and his involvement in the Arab National Council. Yeah. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Lawrence of Arabia is good.
Rightfully
Looks great.
so. Yeah, it's really good.
It's a good movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a good.
No, I have. I didn't watch it this week, but I watched it recently.
I was being a little facetious there. I feel like most people have seen it. I knew that you had, so.
Yeah, and I was just like, also the cards on the table. Like I did not have the time to get to this. No.
Very few people do. It's long. It's like it's almost 4 hours. So I don't blame you for not revisiting this one. Yeah. It's also one of those movies that like I don't feel like
it's an earned long.
Huh?
It's an earned long. It's earned long.
It's a good payoff, which I was saying.
Yeah. I was going to say that I feel like this is a movie that people remember how they felt about it and might not remember all the specific things that happened, and that's fine because
that's a good point.
You're getting huge, sweeping vistas juxtaposed against these small, tiny figures that are crawling across the desert, and yet also you're getting really good, intimate, quiet scenes within the tents or within these war rooms or wherever that are really good intimate moments and that develop great character and have great acting and are super well written. But it's like you also remember these crazy action sequences.
The train sequence. I mean, like
where the train sequence where they're crossing the desert and he has to go back and get the guy. And I mean, there's just like some of the greatest scenes of all time. The music is iconic. It's just fabulous. Great Peter O'Toole performance. deals with themes of loyalty and identity and violence, and Lawrence is constantly struggling with becoming the thing that he is fighting against in the beginning.
As far as biographies go, it's just like you see this man go through like 4 different phases of his life.
Yeah. The one thing that's like, there's several things in that movie that are sort of like seared in my mind, but the one where it's like, he, like when he goes to the desert, it's like he physically, like he turns his head and we phase into it. Correct? That's not what happens. Like it's like his face juxtaposed with just the vastness of the desert, and then by the time it's over, him just completely wrapped up and just burnt. It's just like he's just like it's in terms of like a biopic, it's like we get a large swath of time and a true transformation within it. Whereas like
true transformation, because he goes dark, and it's not necessarily, he's not absolved of said darkness. He like leans into it for a while. It's really, really great. It's one of the best movies ever for a reason.
Like a legit like classic where they don't really make movies like that anymore, and I wrote
it's a masterpiece among masterpieces. It's fantastic. It's also
looks great on 4K.
Can't wait I want to watch it in the theater on the big screen. So there you go. That's my number 2. Jack? No, I'm sorry. Tommy, what's your number 1?
Ray Charles. This movie, Jesus, I remember this so vividly, seeing this in theaters with my parents back in the day. I was like, I guess it was 13 when this came out, and just like a cultural juggernaut. A true case of like someone being born for a role and just embodying it entirely. Getting the Oscar, getting the trophy at the end of it, and being like, we all agree this is the best performance of the year. And also a weird cultural placement as well within like Black culture, where like you have you have Jamie Foxx singing as Ray Charles on a Kanye West song for Gold Digger, which is like this weird.
I didn't think about that.
Weird, like in character, kind of in the music video, if I remember.
Yes, in character in the music video. I heard this song on the radio like a few weeks ago, and I was just like, it's so crazy that this song has stuck around. And then like when you watch this movie, you totally forget. Jamie Foxx was just fully Ray Charles to the point where he was just like Ray Charles on a Kanye West song,
right? And it also wasn't part of the soundtrack, right? That was like No, it was like a completely separate thing. It was just like, do your Ray Charles thing on one of my songs.
Just be on graduation, or just absolutely insane. And also in terms of movies, you get childhood till the very end. You get the good and the bad. You get songs being created, songs being performed. Like the Georgia on My Mind performance is just like so pristine. And so like I chose it as my number 1 because I feel like this is like the highest level. In a like, I don't know, and maybe in a very biased way, but kind of like in a very clear way where it just touches on everything in a really confident way, where it's just like you have just like the performance from his mom is just heartbreaking and just really gut-wrenching from like the past, and just like everything in the past is also shot insanely well, and just him just rising through the music industry and just being a monster, and just like kind of like being not a monster, but just being like a complicated, troubled figure. Going through dark times. Monster is a harsh word, but like being infidelity, like not being faithful, and kind of falling into that trap.
Super early drug addiction.
Falling into that trap that a lot of musicians and artists and people kind of fall into, troubled people fall into. And so I don't know. This movie does a good job of kind of just showing that journey. And you learn a lot about like the music industry and how it's evil, and it kind of there's a lot of shady deals. You can get hooked on the bad stuff real quick, and it's you can be at the top and still fall. And so I think this movie is just when I think about biopics, this is one. This is like very much like this is one where I could very much put this on and show this to someone. And be like, this is the definition of like what a biopic can do at the highest level, right? When it's doing everything, when it's doing everything right.
Yeah, and also like is a testament to its importance based off of like spoofs or things that have been done after it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
In a not insulting way, it's like, wow, this like defined the genre a little bit. I mean,
yeah.
It's like, Dewey Cox owes a lot to it, as it owes a lot to Walk the Line, but also it just shows kind of just like, how genuine it was when it first came out, where it's like, like this is just a very raw, everything is on the line here.
Right.
And there also there's some weird stuff too, where there's one scene, I forget the song name, but like the record, you see the record and then we go into the center of it, and that's how we do it, a scene transition. And it's not as insane as something like Elvis, but I don't think we weren't quite there yet. This is still very much like the building blocks and like the foundations of the crazy stuff. We will get to, we can get stuff like Rocket Man and stuff like Piece by Piece, because we need something very much like Ray, which is like the foundations. And I think it just does it all. It's like, passing the ball, it's a chest pass, it's foundation, it's meat and potatoes,
Ray was the first movie my wife and I saw together.
Oh, wow.
We were dating. Yep. First date movie.
Well, we owe a lot to Ray.
Yeah, I certainly do. Jack, what's your number one movie?
My number one movie is Malcolm X. Came out in 1992, directed by Spike Lee, written by Arnold Pearl and Spike Lee, starring Denzel Washington, Angela Bassett, Albert Hall, Al Freeman Jr., Delroy Lindo. Tells the story, the whole life story of Malcolm X. Yeah. I brought up the whole 4 parts thing in the other one, but this is like, in my opinion, I'm not the first person to say this, but this is like kind of a film told in 4 parts. You have his youth, you have his incarceration, and an introduction to the Nation of Islam. You have his full commitment into the Nation of Islam, and then you have his eventual exile from that specific community into what he became in the final years of his life. And I think, obviously, Spike Lee's creation and direction of this movie is obviously one of the most important things, but I think Denzel Washington's performance is the most crucial thing in this whole movie. I think it's one of the greatest performances in
ever.
Yeah, agreed.
It's kind of made for the role, and I mean, Angela Bassett is incredible in it as well. Everybody is, as what I said earlier in a biography should be, in a biopic should be, is all the acting should be on point, which it is. But Denzel Washington, as far as like seeing a person change throughout the course of his life, I mean, the beginning part of as far as learning things, like I said, is one of the most important things about a biopic that I need. The first portion of his life, I did not know that much before seeing this film. It's portrayed brilliantly, and it's exciting, and it's interesting, and then he goes into prison, and it's just like, God, like, it's crazy what this man went through and became. And
I think about this movie quite a bit, because I read the autobiography like within the last like 5 years of my life. Like, it was something like relatively recent, and it just completely changed everything. I was like, this is one of the greatest books ever. It's like easily like a must read. Like it, and like the movie is like very entertaining to a point where it's like, this is like Spike Lee's magnum opus. This is the best thing, I think. This and Do the Right Thing are kind of like neck and neck.
Right.
But
they're two very different films, but right there.
Yeah, two very different movies, but Malcolm X has this like just, this is a black man in history that experienced things that he just went from like, you can argue like the lowest of the lows to like this celestial kind of high, to where like, yeah, he's like friends with Muhammad Ali and just like walking around the earth with like an army behind. Like, it's just insane to kind of like to see that transformation like within the midst of like, it is just very militant, very pro-black, very much like there is like, we're not hedging anything, we're not taking, we're not, it is to the point where it is very extreme, where a lot of these ideas are very, very challenging, and to the point where it's like, yeah, like this is arguably the most important movie and most important story amongst all of these, and like one of, and I would maybe even argue maybe the best movie out of all of these, in terms of like when you're sitting down and watching it, like
not a bad argument.
You say it's broken into 4 pieces, where like I was like, yeah, it's kind of, I do agree with the 4 pieces, but like it was more split in half to me, where it's like the first half of this is like a black gangster film, like a very atypical kind of like black gangster film, and then it flips into, now it's like this is one of the most important like one of the most important figures in history, and like that switch is just like jarring, and it's just like, it is just so, it's confrontational in a way where it's like, yeah, it's supposed to be, because like this is how we change the world. We have to like, we got to make some big changes. You can't be, small. And so Malcolm X is as big as you get in terms of like radical black change.
It's incredible, and he's great.
And seeing him go from the militant side, I mean, he was always relatively militant, but seeing him go from staunch militants and then being betrayed by his people in the like that whole transition, and then realizing that it didn't need to be so militant and angry. And coming out of it, and then the whole paranoia.
When he makes that trip to Mecca, the pilgrimage to Mecca,
when he goes to Mecca. And then just like the tragedy of like the last months of his life, just going through absolute paranoia with his family. And being like tracked by maybe the Nation of Islam and CIA. They never really make it totally clear.
They insinuate that it's the CIA helping the Nation of Islam, which has long been rumored. One thing that I noticed and liked, I should really say that Becky, my wife, noticed and liked the last time we were watching it, which was a couple nights ago, was that in the beginning, when he's sort of in his lost in the darkness phase and he's doing a lot of drugs and he's getting up to a lot of crime, that's when Spike Lee's doing his most flexing and the craziest editing and do his most stylized directing. And then once he sort of finds his pillar in the Nation of Islam, the filmmaking becomes much more regimented and like intentional. Well, that's not the right word, but much more maybe traditional, straightforward, but and still very well executed. But the style changes partway through the movie as Malcolm X himself finds more discipline. Discipline's probably the better way to put that.
But I would say
that was really interesting.
It also, in the last maybe third of the movie, it kind of comes back. I mean, he does his classic floating person towards the camera. In the last scene of the movie, and the whole assassination scene as
Malcolm X's own mind starts expanding on different possibilities, he comes back to it.
I was gonna say, like Spike's, like his big visual things are always like the symmetry of like center straight on, and then like the rapid cutting of like just which I kind of like akin to like just AAVE, or just like just like the speed of just like black speaking, just like it's kind of like it's very rhythmic, for lack of better words. And so when Malcolm X is talking, or when he's confronting the pastor inside the prison church, and he's just like saying like, oh, like all the images of Christ are white, and you're getting images of it, like and that's like the editing of here, like we're going to show you the thought process,
boom,
and
boom,
like
boom, boom.
It like I think like he kind of with this movie specifically, I feel like he really they all kind of like collectively honed in on like making sure those visual things were like so poignant. And like one of my favorite shots is the like you go to his mother in the like the mental health asylum or whatever, and he's just like curled up like in a ball in the corner, like in his full suit. And he's just like a little scared kid, and it's just like, yeah, like that's like those last bits of that before the full transformation. And
and he gets abstract with it like that.
Yeah,
but also at the end, it becomes very much like a political thriller, and
definitely
you have all of the scenes inside the hotel. Like there's the shot where they like pan over and they like go into the mirror, and then when you go into the mirror, you see the bottom of the lamp, and there's like a little what do you even call it? Microphone that's like placed on the bottom of the lamp, but it's like after like I don't know, it's just like he's cooking.
Yeah,
dude.
That's like the best way. Like a lot of times watching these movies, they're cooking right now. They're absolutely, and this is one of the few cases where you can say across the board, everyone's just doing some of the best work that they've done, and it is very much so why like this movie kind of has that legacy and still holds it, and still has retained it.
Yeah, careful.
Pretty great. All right, my number one movie is Amadeus, directed by Milos Forman, stars Tom Hulce as Mozart and F. Murray Abraham, Academy Award-winning performance as Antonio Salieri, among many others that I'm not going to read off. This movie is great and apparently not very accurate at all, so I don't know how we feel about that.
But how about this? You got a double biography on this one.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, this is like it's just as much about
Salieri.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, those are the parts that aren't super accurate.
Oh, okay.
See, I think, but that's what I honestly, that's what kind of makes this movie legendary, because it is like the one biopic that's like told from this perspective of a hater, and it's just like,
that's gonna find out.
Yeah, and it's just like, like this dude, like he has so much hate towards this person that, like it's
apparently not true.
It is the
really,
but even so, it's so like it's a biased kind of take. Where it's like, well, what if this person in the shadow of this like greatest composer or whatever, and then I'm not opposed to a what if in this context. One is executed at such a great level, because it's like the production value is fantastic. The costumes are amazing. It's just,
that's the thing. If you fib it up a little bit, you better be making a good movie, which they did. So it essentially tells the story of Salieri later in life, kind of old and haggard, as he recounts his life and is juxtaposed against the hatred genius of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart as their competitors and contemporaries at the time. Although Mozart is like miles ahead of everybody when they're doing it.
And it has just one of the greatest endings in a movie ever, which I won't spoil if you haven't seen it. But it's just
we'll keep that one in the chamber just in case. But like Tommy said, the production value is amazing. It looks incredible. The performances of the two main guys, F. Murray Abraham, he won an Oscar, and Tom Hulce, who I've only seen in like 2 movies in the 80s.
That and Parenthood.
Those are the only 2 movies I've ever seen him in.
What else is he in?
I don't know. Those are the only 2 that I've seen him in. Anyway, but they're both great. And it's a really fun movie at times and a really like heartbreaking movie at times. 4K looks incredible. I think I put the scene where Mozart is like sick in bed and he can't like actually write out the music, and he's dictating to Salieri at the end of the movie. And the music, he's like dictating each line of the music, and they are building it and layering it over the scene. I put that as like one of my 50 favorite scenes of all time. I love that.
Nice.
It's just an incredible movie. Won the Oscar in 1984. Thumbs up all around from me.
For Best Picture?
Well, 1985 was the year it won.
No, I'm just saying.
The movie came out. And
I don't know why
it's great. We even did an exercise once of the movies that absolutely deserved to win Best Picture in all the years, and you and I both picked that one.
Oh, there you go.
That year didn't have very many good.
Maybe
I'll cut this part out.
I remember that.
Yeah, totally remember that. It's a really great episode.
The movie's awesome.
It's really good. And then, you get to hear Mozart music throughout the whole thing, which is wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, just great.
Vienna.
Thumbs up all around.
Vienna.
Austria.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Vienna.
Well,
No, I know. I'm just joking.
the spoiler warning has been put
Yeah,
out.
Austria.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
Oh man, the scene where Salieri is like he always had it. He's just like yeah.
He's just like so frustrated and hates him so much.
Yeah. I feel like it's really good for anyone who has ever felt the feeling of jealousy. You should watch this movie.
Yeah.
Because it is,
Shows you down your dark path.
yeah.
It's super good. I might watch it tonight.
Just throw it on the back.
I just got the 4K to rewatch it.
Damn.
Because I had it on DVD and I just got the 4K, but I didn't get to
The
it.
4K, like regular, or is it like a steel? Like where do I find this? I don't have it.
I don't know.
Mm.
I just ordered it on Amazon. It's just a
I'll
normal
go fuck
4K.
myself. Thanks.
Nice.
What do you mean? it's just a 4K.
It's
It's great. It's not Steelbook. It was $20. It was $18.
I get it.
And it came within a day, and I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. How was Selena, Josh?
I don't know. Maybe I'll watch that tonight. I have that on Blu-ray too.
Hell yeah, me too. I just got it.
Dang, I'm slipping on. I haven't bought a Blu-ray in quite some time. I've just been buying the video games, but
I'm literally on the internet right now buying one as. No, I'm kidding.
no, I've resorted to my grimy ways. Where I've just gone back to watching movies by any means illegally necessary.
Hey man, people are listening to this. FBI, we got it. I found him.
You can bleep it out. You can bleep it out.
But bleep the shit out.
I always say you got to see a movie in theaters if that's the way, if that is the most convenient way and the most affordable way, then you should always see a movie in theaters because Thomas Churchill does not condone piracy.
Thought you were making a serious theater pledge there, and I was getting.
I think
really
he was
excited.
kind of. I don't know. I couldn't tell what was going on.
I'm a big.
They call him
champion.
Captain Thomas.
Like I say, I'm in Los Angeles right now. I'm enjoying living down here and going to the Burbank movie theater. It's a really fun movie theater.
Now they're really going to know where you are.
I hear they're opening the ArcLight again.
There's a Batman statue outside of that theater. It's really cool.
Shit.
That too. I've just been going crazy. I saw Spider-Man. I enjoyed it. Cried like a baby. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Okay. No spoilers.
I'm not gonna spoil. Like I said, I already spoiled enough with the list tonight. I didn't mean to spoil.
No, all the other movies we talked about
it.
are like 90 million years old. You can spoil any of that.
No, I mean as we were going through it, as we were. I didn't mean to.
Ray Charles was
pod,
addicted to heroin.
No, I know. I just no.
What?
If we do a 5 count, I won't spoil your choices next time. I won't like.
Oh,
I did that multiple times.
That was great.
Yeah,
it's good content.
But Lincoln also was assassinated, so spoilers.
They all were. Malcolm X. I got Malcolm X, Milk, Selena, and Lincoln all on my list.
Damn.
All those people got shot.
That's a crazy list.
Or stabbed.
Yeah, that's heavy. Also, Ray Charles kicking heroin cold turkey is like
iconic.
That's insane. That might be the most gangster thing.
It's a crazy scene.
I remember thinking that as a kid, like, is that even possible? Like, can you do that? I guess you can.
I remember thinking,
lock me
like,
down, man.
What is it like being blind and being completely addicted to drugs?
Dude, that's man. It's just
Don't find out.
He's one of a kind.
He certainly is that. Tommy, thanks for joining us, man. This was a fun episode.
Yeah. Had a good time. Yeah.
Jack, thank you too.
Of course. Thank you, Josh.
Me?
All right.
I was gonna say.
All right. Well, it's been fun. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Don't know what we have planned for next week because we got a couple recorded. But we will see you in the next one. And Tommy, thanks again for jumping on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll have you on again soon.
And check out Thomas's new album.
Yeah, Thug
Alpatron?
Alpatron, Thug Apatow 6 biopic is coming soon. I don't know when, sometime in September. And I'll leave you with this. I remember when me and Max, we watched Catch Me If You Can together, and he was like, how is this a biopic? I do not understand this movie being a biopic. So I'll leave you with
also not accurate, apparently.
Also not accurate.
Well, glad it didn't make our list. Max,
good movie.
Max Burwell?
Yes, yeah, we watched that together, and he was like, "How is this a biopic? Like, what? Like, there's nothing about this man. We learned nothing about this man." And I was like, I'm not arguing with that. I'm like, we don't know anything about this
dude. That's the homie. Tell him to check out our podcast. / I want to hang out with him. I miss him.
Absolutely. I will let him know. I saw him not too long ago, a few weeks ago.
All right.
I'll pass the word along.
Thank you, Thomas.
Podcast shout out. Yeah, absolutely. Good ass time.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace out.